What's up, everybody? This is AfroDJMac, and I'm here to show you something I think is kind of cool. This is my master FX track for my live sets. Allows me to do some kind of fun things. Low pass. High pass. I can put some flanger on it. I got this effect that I call the Drake effect, which as I turn it up, kind of washes everything out. Kind of like Drake likes to do in his songs, but not exactly. Don't give me any guff about that. You got a big crusher, some reverb for like some glitchiness, a beat repeat. And one final thing is this like filter delay thing that allows you to just kind of clear yourself out here. Now all you hear is the delay, and I turn it back down. I turned off my tracks, and I'll turn off some reverb here. And basically, this is just a really handy thing for making things interesting without really doing a lot. It's a pretty simple thing, really. So let's just start by taking a look at this. First thing that comes up is this little Drake effect, so I'll just get right to it with this. I mean, it's not exactly like that, but it just reminds me of the way Drake's songs get kind of mellow and echoey, low-pass stuff. So what I did is I set up two chains here. One is clean, does nothing to the signal. This is the chain selector here, so you can see it starts out clean, and as I turn my knob, it gets more and more wet, you could say, and that turns on our Drake effect here, which is really just an EQ. So I've cut out a lot of the highs and some lows, a delay and a reverb, and a little gain here, because when you cut out all this frequency, you're lowering the volume, so this will just bring it back up. So as you know, you are playing your track here, you turn up this knob, you get this sort of washed out, like spacey feeling, which can be augmented by adding in the low pass. So let me just show you what I'm doing. Low pass, maybe even a little flanger. Doing some fun things with your beat repeat. And, you know, you get the idea. So that's this Drake kind of washed out effect thing going on. We'll close that bad boy down. I have the beat repeat. I put that early in the chain so that you can then put like a low pass over it. So, you know, we give this little riff here. Or if you prefer the high pass. So this is kind of cool for like, I can stop my tracks now, and this is still going. This buys me a little time to kind of maneuver around inside my live set. Now that I got this going, I can kind of, maybe I'll turn up this filter delay, which I'll explain in a minute. I can turn this back down, put this off, start my next track, which maybe I'll start in Drake land here, and I'll then lower my delay. Now my new track's going. It's kind of a smooth way to jump between things. I could fade that out slowly. Okay. So that's the beat repeat, handy to use for just like glitchy things. Just so you see how it works, as you turn the knob, it just really plays around with the grid on your beat repeat. turn it all the way down, and it shuts off. Let's see. We've got a bit crusher, which is pretty self-explanatory, but I think is, again, just kind of a nice thing to have going on once in a while. I'm sorry, this is the reverb. We'll talk about that now. Just the reverb, nothing special. You're just turning up the dry wet. You can see right there. The bit crusher. I like to mute the drums sometimes. Do a little bit crushing in there. Okay. Flanger, simple. It kind of messes around with a couple of your parameters here. Gives you some cool sound. Slight effect. It's subtle. And sometimes it's nice. Okay, and the last thing I should talk about is this filter delay thing. Now what this is doing is, as I turn the knob, I am cutting out the low frequencies, and also turning up a delay. If I get all the way over, I've cut out all the signal because there's, I'm going to stop the tracks. I've cut out all the signal here. There's nothing you can hear because the frequencies have all been cut. Plus, my delay is set to dry wet 100%. The feedback is at 95, which is really just so it will eventually fade out. It's slowly fading. But this is great, again, I think, for just buying you some time to get to your next track. You can do some cool things. You know, I have it set up so like all my loops here are going to a dummy track, which is this track here, and my live instruments, which are all routed to these tracks, are going to a separate place right to the master app. Gives me a chance to play with my OP1. I can, you know, if I had my sounds on my launch pad set up, or on this keyboard here. So I can do things while that noise is happening. I've stopped my clips, and now I can kind of like lower this thing down here and jump right into the next song. Yeah. So that's basically the rack. I think it's very handy. Sometimes what I like to do is to take this power button here and map it to my Footswitch, which I will do right now. It's off screen, but just believe me that I stepped on something. And this should be a momentary switch. So as I press it down, it turns on, and I lift my foot off, it turns off. So let's go back to a track here. As I, I'll play my track here. I'll step on it, and now I can do things to affect it. So I can get it really low, if I want, for instance. And then I just lift my foot up, and everything comes back to normal. It's nice to have your effects turn on and off at the press of a button. So that's the rack. I hope you enjoy it. It's really nice sometimes to just do some subtle things to your tracks, and this is really good for that. And also, it can get nuts too, of course, so why not? Maybe you're feeling nuts, maybe you're feeling subtle. I like to use this on, as I said, my pre-recorded stuff, and it's a lot of fun to have control over that separately, and then have control over my instruments too, so I can do different things to them at the same time. Okay, I hope you found this fun and enjoyable. Thank you for joining me, and have a great week.